public. Peace. This is the enemy's public. I am Bro.Nasir. Before we get to the subject of discussion, I want to play something that ties into it on a different level. My brother, Wise Intelligent, speaking at the hip hop forum during Savior's Day. The brother dropped some real information that's very pertinent, and I think we all need to heed this information that the brother dropped, and it ties to our subject at hand.
I'm a member of the Nation of Islam now, man. I have my head if I get the whole list of our people. Ain't nowhere in the world I can straight up. You know, a lot of what he's saying is actual fact. It's actual fact. Yet it also speaks to the environment in which we are embedded as young black males and females in this particular society. Hip hop changing from positive to negative was not a consequence of history. It was not a circumstance of history. It was nothing that just happened on its own. It had nothing to do with the changing of the times. It had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with the fact that there are people in this particular society who wants to see us exactly where we are. And we cannot elude that, let that point elude us. These are the facts. How do we know? 1967, Kerner Commission report on urban disorder. When black people said, yo, we're tired of this system. You know what I mean? The system is oppressing us. So we rebelled against the system. We burned things. We said, yo, we had enough. He did his little report on what caused these riots. He said, what caused these riots? He said it was young children who started these riots, and what motivating them was a high self-esteem and an enhanced racial pride. He said the majority of the rioters were high school dropouts, but they had a higher political orientation than their peers who did not drop out. And they saw the system as their enemy, so they attacked it in the right circumstance. So fast forward to 1992. Same thing. #1 record on the radio. We had Fight the Power. Fight the Power is on the radio. Rodney King is beaten before the world. The black youth rebelled against the system. Again, they did it again. And why? What primed them? Positive hip hop primed them. Fight the Power, X-Clan, Brand Nubian. You had these groups out here who were pushing, who were politically orienting black kids in the right direction, giving them the proper prompters that they needed so that they can respond properly to oppression. All right. In 1967, when the riots happened, he saw that the self-esteem and the racial pride was fueling this. So he said, how do I bring that down so that they will not riot? And what he did, he flooded the airways with black exploitation movies. Nigga Charlie and the Return of Nigga Charlie. These were movies. Hip hop didn't start calling people niggas. We had Shaft. We had Coffee. Black girl turned prostitute to do whatever. You know what I mean? But these black exploitation movies brought down the self-esteem and the racial pride so that the kids will not rebel against the system of oppression. 92, the racial pride was back in effect. We had black kids going to Dr. Ben Yuckin lectures. We were spending our money to go see Farrakhan speak as opposed to going to a strip club. This is where we were. The most coveted article of clothing was a historically black college or university sweater. We were motivating children towards positive attitudes and lifestyles. And when Rodney King got the beating, heads responded properly. Fast forward to our day. Sean Bell is shot 50 times in the street in New York by police officers. #1 song on the radio, Like a Lollipop. Nobody do nothing. Nobody respond to nothing. Trust me. Just like the brother, I believe it was JT, the bigger figure, who said that the label executives came to him and said, yo, brother, we need you talking about guns and whores. Right. You know what I mean? That's right. That happens. I've been in those meetings with management and had to ask me, is what you're saying really what you believe? So that we'll know how to market you properly. You know what I mean? This happens. Young Buck on his album, he has a song on his album that talks about police terrorism. The label said absolutely not. Jimmy Iovine said absolutely not. You cannot put that record on the album because it might create an atmosphere that might put police officers' lives in danger. Right. So they took the record off, but they let him keep the other 14 songs on the album that talked about killing black youth. So this is what we're doing. We're not dealing with a circumstantial consequence of history. You know what I mean? The environment that we're embedded in puts us in a situation where we feel we have to maneuver and play the game and water our message down. You know what I mean? But no, what happened was they intentionally shifted the paradigm to get us exactly where we are right now. Right now, we're feeding the prison industrial complex right now. Our kids are going to prison because they're promoting these records. They're promoting these records daily that send us to jail. You know what I mean? It's cool to go to jail. You know what I mean? They glorify these things. It's not the black youth. We're in a position where we get, like the brother said, the choice. You know, he said, yo, I chose the positive. So I didn't do it. But every youth is not going to take that route. Right. I know I come from the projects, grew up in the projects all my life. You know what I mean? And we're not turning down $500,000 to say nigga. We're not going to do it because we won't turn down $200 to take a package of crack from one corner to the next. You know what I mean? We live in a state of poverty and one of all things. So it's hard for us to make that. Our judgment is clouded. And they knew that the judgment would be even more clouded if they took groups like X-Clan off the radio. This is just what it is. And until we start to deal with the environment that's shaping the behavior, we'll never get to the next level.
That was the brother, wise, intelligent, from Poor Righteous Teachers, giving us gems on how artists are manipulated by record executives on how to write their lyrics and manipulate our people, in particular our youth. But the subject is our organizing considered terrorism? Our unity considered terrorism? I'm going to go back a few years. Now, in the United States, Black identity extremist was a designation used by the Federal Bureau of Investigation from August 2017 to July 2019. It first appeared in a counterterrorism report dated August 3rd, 2017, sent to thousands of police departments and described safety concerns about allegedly violent so-called African American activists. The term was discontinued when the FBI merged several classifications under the umbrella termed as racial motivated violent extremism. Now, they wanted to tie us and intertwine us with people who were actually committing violence on people because of their ethnicity or the color of their skin. Now, throughout its history, the FBI has viewed Black activism as a potential national security threat. It has used its ample investigative powers not to suppress violence, but to inhibit the speech and association rights of Black activists. And its reaction to the protests following the police killings of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd shows little has changed. In fact, nothing has changed. Now, going back way before I was even here, As a matter of fact, my grandfather was probably about 4 years old. 1919. In October 1919, a young J. Edgar Hoover, director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, General Intelligence Division, targeted who he called Black Moses, Marcus Garvey, for investigation and harassment because of his alleged association with radical elements that were agitating the so-called Negro movement. Hoover admitted that Garvey had not violated no federal laws, but to the FBI, the precursor organization to the FBI, infiltrated Garvey's Universal Negro Improvement Association with informant provocateurs and undercover agents who searched for years for any charge that could justify his deportation. Now, the Justice Department ultimately won a conviction against Garvey on a dubious mail fraud charge in 1923. Meanwhile, white vigilantes, police, and soldiers targeted our communities, Black communities, committing violence during this period, which included Red Summer of 1919, the Tulsa Massacre of 1921, and scores of lynchings, did not receive the same focused attention from Hoover's agents. Now, because we organize and we're going to do for ourselves, that's called terrorism. Terrorism. Now, in the eyes of our open and consistent enemy, we have to understand that our freedom, complete freedom, is illegal. Police terrorize our communities. They work in our communities when they don't live there, and they're only there to terrorize us. Most of them take the job for that reason. Peace to Big Dog Philly OG. Peace to Love Zay. Peace to Don Treese. Thanks for joining me this evening. Now, the FBI used similar tactics to disrupt, discredit, and neutralize leaders of the civil rights and anti-war movement of the 1960s. The FBI COINTELPRO program targeted civil rights leaders like, Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Stokely Carmichael. They were specifically designed to prevent the rise of a messiah who could unify and electrify the militant Black nationalist movement, rather than to prevent any violent acts they might perpetrate. The methods included informant-driven disinformation campaigns designed to spark conflict within the movement, means cause conflict in the ranks, discourage donors and supporters, and even break up marriages. Overt investigative activities was also used as one stated goal of the COINTELPRO program was to inspire fear among activists by convincing them that an FBI agent lurked behind every mailbox. By 2017, the FBI had invented a new domestic terrorism program category, and it's called Black Identity Extremist. Because we identify with our people, we stand and act on behalf of our people, it's really considered terrorism. Now, when we question the police unlawful request, like they pull us over for nothing, they ask us for ID, they don't give no reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime we committed, about to commit, or they witness us commit it. They don't, when we don't submit to them, they actually Pardon me a second. Peace to my brother, Big Dog Philly OG. Thank you for joining me. They actually, when we deny their request of unlawful orders, that is actually breaking the law to them, because in all reality, they don't feel that the law applied to us. And they think freedom, when it comes to us, is illegal. Now, an FBI intelligence report cited 6 unrelated incidents over a 3-year period in which Black subjects not associated with one another attacked police officers, so they say, to allege that a terrorist movement driven by perceptions of police brutality against so-called African Americans existed. The report stated that the perceived unchallenged illegitimate actions of law enforcement will inspire premeditated attacks against law enforcement by so-called Black identity extremists, suggesting that the FBI's concerns lay not in illegal police violence, but the hypothetical retaliation it might provoke. Now, they're not focused on the actual unlawful acts and brutality that the police commit on us. They're worried about what we're going to do about it. So when they see us organizing, strategizing, and deputizing, meaning all of us playing our parts, that worries them. Not focusing on stopping police brutality and them from coming in our homes and shooting our young people to death. Now, in 2018 and 2019, the FBI conducted nationwide assessments of Black identity extremists under an intelligent collection operation it called Iron Fist, prioritizing these cases over investigations of far more prevalent violence from white supremacists and far-right militants, which is the same damn thing. Over that period, the FBI also acknowledged using its most advanced surveillance aircraft to monitor Black Lives Matter protests in Baltimore after the police murdered Freddie Gray. And again, at the Black Lives Matter protests in Washington, D.C., also at least 4 organizers of the Black Lives rally in Cookeville, Tennessee, received unscheduled visits at their homes and workplaces by the FBI. They are assigned to the local Joint Terrorism Task Force. And most of the time when you're at work and the FBI come and they visit you, that's going to bring heat to you. And then a lot of times your employer start looking at you crazy. Now, they were questioned about their social media posts, their plans for protests, and whether they had connections to Antifa, anti-fascist activists, who the tyrant Donald Trump has blamed for inciting violence at Black Lives Matter protests. The FBI had reported that it found no evidence of Antifa involvement at the protests. Now, just like the names they give all these people they were in business with, like Taliban, Al-Qaeda, ISIS. These are names made up by the United States government. They give them those names. Like Antifa, that's a name that was given. They put that name on us. Yet, it's a bunch of damn white boys who are out here being agent provocateurs. Now, when we do these so-called protests, our people, I would say, because I don't get involved in that, they actually stage, piles of bricks, pallets of bricks. They'll take an old police car and put it in that area. They'll just stage things for us to destroy. And we need to understand that this is, socialized within our people. And they let us go out and blow off steam when one of us is murdered, and then we just chill until the next episode. Now, it isn't surprising that the Justice Department rarely bring charges against police officers for violating civil rights of our people and of the brutality. If the FBI believes that unaccountability for police brutality and murders of us provokes retaliations, why don't they just do something about the police brutality and murders of our people? That I don't understand. Why they don't do anything about these police murders and the brutality of the police all over the nation. If they think that's going to be and bring forth retaliation, they should just stop that. They're not worried about that. What they're worried about is us organizing and being able to defend ourselves. Now we got to understand that freedom, or true freedom, is illegal. Whenever you question unlawful orders of a police officer, they call it obstruction. And then we have people speaking about their sovereignty in America, which won't be established without war. And they're worried about that. We need to understand that our sovereignty would not take place without war, based on who we're dealing with. Peace to Brother Veli Ray. Those who serve to the detriment of our people working for these agencies, they're tools. They know they're tools, but they're willing participant. They'll be a tool for their paycheck. Yet they don't understand that our enemies, I'm going to say this slow so people can understand it. Our enemies break their tools when they're done with them. Even in entertainment, they break their tools when they're done with them. You see how they come down, how they try to take all the money that a person has earned throughout their vacation, their career. They try to break them and take every dime that they had and that they earned. Now, I've noticed that the police, they don't get as angry with their own when they defy their unlawlessness, their unlawful requests, as they do when we challenge them when they make unlawful requests. With us, they'll take the chance of losing their job. And they really don't think they're going to lose their job, because they really think they're doing the right thing by arresting us for nothing and by abusing us and murdering us during something simple as a traffic stop. They come into our homes for minor offenses with canines, with their guns drawn, and with SWAT teams. It's really embedded in some of them, most of them, to be disrespectful by barking orders and belittling grown men who are sometimes twice their age. Yet when a man behaves like a man and challenges them, they become scared for their lives. Why, when a man demands mutual respect from another man, it makes them cowards and afraid for their lives? Now, I always said that when someone attacks our women, they're attacking us. And they're trying us as men. And they attack our women because they feel there's no consequence for assaulting our women. Now, they even assault our children as young as 6 and 8 and 12 years old, putting them in handcuffs. I've seen videos of them arresting somebody 6 years old, putting a 6-year-old child in handcuffs. Yet my sentiment is we don't raise enough hell when this stuff happens. That's the problem I have with some of our people. Now, I've always said, peace to Mami Chulo, peace to Ghetto Child Clinic. Thanks for joining me. I've always said that when somebody use our children and our women as soft targets, we have to stand up as men and go out and actually do one or two things: die for our women and kill for our women. If you're not willing to do that for your woman, you are not deserving of her. She shouldn't have anything to do with you if you're not willing to kill for her and die for her. I have a wife, and I'm willing to do both of them for her. Yet, we need to understand that our enemies see our unity, us organizing, standing, and acting on behalf of our people. That is considered terrorism. Because if we are under investigation for just organizing and doing for our people, there's terrorism to them. Now you take the Crips, the Bloods. Crips came out of the Panther Party. A lot of these organizations were just that, organizations for the betterment of our people and protecting our communities. Yet when CIA operatives who look like us, when their assignments were over, they were assigned to our organizations. Prescott Bush, after J. Edgar Hoover, assigned them to our organizations. And when they came back and said our organizations were legit and we're not doing anything illegal, they were sent back and told to neutralize our organizations, meaning to be provocateurs and make illegal things happen. And that's what happened, and that's why they fight on those lies today. And the reason why they continuously do these things, because there's no dire consequence for someone coming into our organizations and destroying them. Now, a William O'Neill, what he did was despicable. I always bring his name up because what he did, he should have never lived past us finding out he did it. He gave Chicago Police Department a diagram, a mapping of where Fred Hampton was sleeping. And they went into the man's home and murdered him in front of his pregnant girlfriend. Just shot him to death and a few other brothers. And we allow these things to go on without any consequences. I have a problem with that. William O'Neill should have never been able to commit suicide. He should have been dealt with how everybody else, every other nation, every other organization deals with a traitor. That's how he should have been dealt with. It should have been dealt with just like that. Now, if the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigations, can say that every major police department in America have been infiltrated by, anti-Black, white supremacist groups, it says a lot. Yet they investigate us for just organizing to combat that foolishness. They investigate us and then they disrupt our organizations because we're organizing. And at the same time, they tell us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. But when we do, they send people in to disrupt our organizations. I have my brother Big Dog Philly OG here. Brother Big Dog, are you there? You must be doing something. Yeah, we need to realize that whenever we organize, it's considered a threat. It's considered a threat. Yet, and they do that to make us frightened to organize. Yeah, we need to devise a plan. There is a plan. There's a plan for yet we don't carry it out. Peace, Big Dog. How you doing, good brother? There's a plan.
I'm good, brother. Finish your thing. I got you, brother.
There's a plan but we don't carry it out when it comes to dealing with traitors. And it's bad that we don't deal with traitors in our organizations overall as they deal with them in the streets. When you're talking about a whole nation of people and our somebody serving to our detriment, we need to deal with them. It shouldn't be anybody they can run to. Yet they think they have somebody they can run to protect them from us. It shouldn't be nobody they can run to when they do that. When they infiltrate and serve to the detriment of a whole nation of people. We're a nation inside a nation, our people. And when somebody serves to our detriment, it should be a dire consequence. They do it so willingly because they don't fear no consequence. That's why they do it. Big Dog?
I'm here, brother. Much love, much respect to you and the family. Grand Rising. To everybody in the chat, brother. You going in. I agree with everything you're saying. 110%. Go ahead. Keep going, brother. I'm with you.
Yeah, indeed, brother. I appreciate you coming through. I was waiting for brother Key Norful. I spoke to him earlier, yet he been having problems with going to the dentist and everything. I spoke to him earlier. He didn't do his appointment today, and I had to move on. Yeah, they infiltrate our organizations so easily, as the brother said. They infiltrate it so easily because, for one, we have to watch people on a protracted period, and people has arisen to official rank in our organizations. All the time they were agents. And when we find them out, we just let them walk away. When we find them out, we're talking about getting a complete freedom. And the only way you're going to get a complete freedom from an oppressor is us to organize, strategize, deputize, be ourselves, and don't allow any foolishness when it comes to people coming among us. My brother Big Dog got a lot more patience than I do. I'm gonna admit that right in his face. Well, not in his face, in his presence. He got more patience than I do. Because I was listening earlier, brother, to your stream. I was listening earlier when the brothers and the sisters, they dragged that fool that was on there talking that foolishness. And that right there, we don't have to find him out. He came in being a damn agent. He came in being one. We need to understand that when we organize, people are going to look at us. Yet it shouldn't deter us from organizing. It shouldn't deter us. We shouldn't get Stockholm syndrome like some of us do when it comes to our oppressor. Some of us think that whatever they say is right. I'm with Big Dog when it comes to fighting against the system. It wasn't brought forth for us. It would never be for us. And we need to understand there's no comfortable place for any of us in the system of anti-blackness, racism, white supremacy. There's no comfortable place for us. So you can look for a comfortable place all you want. Yet there is no comfortable place for us in white supremacy. The system is not rigged. It's not rigged. It's working exactly how they designed it. So it needs to be destroyed. Some people say, well, the system broke. No, it's not broke. It's working exactly how it was designed. It's against us. Brother Big Dog, you have anything to add before I end the stream? Because I'm not going to stay on long.
Yeah, brother, you're exactly right. It's not for us, never was meant for us. And they didn't put none of this stuff to basically, they used it to target us. And like you said, the federal order of police has been took over by white supremacists. And that happened a long time ago. My brother, I'm with you. Everything you said, 110%, man. It's basically, the war that they had on drugs was against us. They put the drugs in our community and basically, committed war on us.
Indeed.
So much love and respect to you and the family, my brother. Beautiful Bill. Appreciate you letting me up. I agree with everything you said, 110%, my brother. Much respect.
It was really like the war of drugs, brother, because like you just stated, they put the drugs in our community and then locked us up for having them. They put the guns in our community and they locked us up for having them. So they put those negative elements in our communities. They socialize us. And then now when you have record executives meeting with the prison industrial complex, what are they talking about? They're talking about marrying the prison industrial complex to hip hop. And that's when you had people coming out You know, like I played Wise Intelligent earlier, and he was just giving us the knowledge on what Jimmy Iovine and all the other record executives were telling the artists. They want you talking about killing your people. They want you talking about money, holes, and clothes. They want you talking about that. Like when Fight the Power, Welcome to the Terror Dome, when you had Poor Righteous Teachers, you had Brand Nubian's X-Clan, Public Enemy, KRS-One, and those artists that was out here giving us knowledge. We was responding properly at that time. Anything happened, we responded properly. So they had to neutralize that. We need to understand that COINTELPRO is still going on. It's in effect right now, dealing with the entertainment. When we had X-Clan, Poor Righteous Teachers, Public Enemy, Brand Nubian, and any other hip hop artist that was giving us that knowledge and telling our children how to respond, we were responding properly when something happened in our community. When Sean Bell was murdered in New York, the #1 song was Like a Lollipop. That's not no instruction on how to respond, teaching us how to disrespect our women, but it's not giving us no instructions on how to respond to bullshit. That's why they had the meeting in DC with the record executives and the prison industrial complex to make it cool to go to jail. You're not a real hip hop artist unless you go to jail. And while I'm on that subject, I want to speak about the young brother who was just murdered last week in California, P&B Rock. We had people saying that he was naive. You know, I know the streets because I'm from the streets. I grew up in projects, and I know how it is in the hood. The brother was murdered going to get some damn waffles, and people said he should have checked in. Maybe he should have, but I asked this question. When the Arabs, the Koreans, the Chinese, the Indians, when they come into that same hood and they buy a storefront, fill it with inventory, and make money to take back to their community and don't leave none in our community, do they check in? None of them check in. But our young brother gets murdered because he don't fucking check in.
Big facts, brother. Big facts.
He gets murdered because he don't check in. But they don't make nobody else check in. Took their brother chain, killed him in front of his girl, all because he was there and he didn't check in on some bullshit. And that is why our people are in the condition we're in. And that's why our vulnerability, our stupidity is what makes people think they can do harm to us and not get away with it by the way we treat each other. And if we don't believe they come in, we don't believe they got a plan for us, we're out of fucking mind, man. They have plans for us, and it's working. We destroy ourselves, and they destroying us at the same time. Brother OG, I appreciate you coming through. I appreciate my brother Veli Ray, the sister Don Treese, Leonard Peel, Metal Face Doom, Mommy Chula, Brown's Flat Power God, Love Zay. I appreciate you all for coming through. Big Dog, you have anything to say before I close out?
Just much love and much respect to you and the family, brother. And I'm not gonna stop saying what I'm saying and doing what I'm doing. They're gonna have to kill me.
Yeah, exactly.
Much love, brother. You and the family.
They're gonna have to pop me to stop me, brother.
Yes, sir.
Straight up.
Much love.
Love,
Appreciate
honor,
you.
and respect, bro. I appreciate you also.
Fire Bill, man. I'll make sure I share it several times.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. This is the Enemy's Public. I am Brother Nasir. I thank all the people for coming through, all my family. Peace to End Zone, good brother. And like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section. Peace.
Peace, brother.